Hello and welcome back to session 2 of our stress management series, Managing Stress Well. Today we're talking about tackling stress with a new mindset. So just as a reminder, all of our webinars do not take the place of your own provider's recommendations. They're going to be able to tailor things specifically to you for what you need. And so don't listen to anything that we said that contradicts something your providers told you, or let it take the place of something your provider has told you to do or not do. You should always talk to your provider before doing some other health changes. So, just to kind of review, in session 1, we talked about identifying stress. So, what are those stressors that cause us to just get really tense and cause us to stress out a bit? What are our warning signs that we're getting stressed? Maybe it's our shoulders creeping up. Maybe it's headaches, just feeling like our racing thoughts. And then learning how to cope. So we started to talk about learning how to cope and staying in that present moment. So we kind of kicked it off with that, some very, very basic strategies. Today, we're going to be diving more into some of those strategies of how do we cope with stress. The sooner we can identify it, the sooner we can identify that we're getting stressed and start trying to intervene and trying to do something to keep us from going down that route, the better we're going to be able to manage it. So, we're going to start out talking about planning. What's the groundwork for planning? Setting yourself up with planning, reframing your thoughts, which we'll spend a good bit more time with reframing thoughts and how do we think? How are we approaching situations? And then laughter, one of my favorites. So, um, just to kind of ask yourself, how confident are you in your ability to manage your stress? We asked this the first week. We're asking it again now. How confident are you? Are you more confident than you were when you started? Are you a little confident? Still kind of iffy on that? How ready are you to start? How much are you currently prioritizing your stress management? So how ready are you to start working on making those changes? So um, are you prioritizing it? Not at all. Always prioritizing it. Where are you falling in that spectrum? Planning. Starting out with planning. A lot of our stresses can often be resolved just by increasing our planning and time management skills. So, something I always talk to people with, like stress management, is this something within your control? Often we worry about things that we have absolutely no control over, and I know I still do it all the time. But making a list, that hard copy list of just putting it in front of you. What are things that are within my control? What are things not within my control? Um, if it's something that you have no control over, you physically wrote it down, burn it, throw it away, do something to let yourself know you're getting rid of it, because that's not something that you can keep holding on to. You have to let it go. Is it something you have to do? Sometimes we have good intents, and especially if we're more of that type A personality, we like to be motivated. We like to have a long list of things to do so that we're not getting bored. But is it something you actually have to do? Because sometimes we get ourselves stressed out because we're doing stuff that we don't actually have to do. Um, where does it fit within your other priorities? So sometimes we might have a thing that we want to do, but it's at the bottom of the list. Can you organize your to do list based on your priorities? And is it important to you? Sometimes we have things that are not important to us that we still have to do for work, but sometimes we have stuff on our list that it's like, hey, I'm trying to do this for this person and they asked me to do it, but it's not that important to me. And to be honest, it's probably really not even important to them. So, um, are you stressing yourself out with that kind of thing too? Uh, Creating lists. So list those things that are in your control, list the things that are not in your control. Focus on what's within your control and let go of what you can't. Set your priorities. You may want to have a separate long-term to-do list. I know when we first got married, my husband, I had my to-do list and I would make that list and it would kind of stress him out. So even when he crossed off the thing on the paper, it was still there. So it caused problems. So it was as simple as maybe I need a whiteboard so that it can get erased and you can only put a couple things on there at a time to help you focus. But just different things to kind of think about of how can you help yourself focus and not overwhelm yourself. Um, so having that longer to-do list of your long-term lists of things that you have to do, and then hiding that task list away so you can focus on what's only immediate right now. Um, And if you need to, use that dry erase board because that'll go away for forever. Um, just saying no to certain things. If it's not if it's outside your job responsibilities, um, try to try to say no if you can. Again, it's easier said than done, but for every time you say yes to something for someone else, you have to say no to something else, which a lot of times is no to yourself and taking care of yourself. For every yes, there is a no. Scheduling events, making sure you schedule time for yourself, scheduling time for your loved ones. Again, some of us, we might need to put a block on our schedule just so that we know when it's that time commitment and you need to stick to it. Which again, setting those boundaries, having those clear guidelines, knowing yourself and your limits, making sure you're setting enough time for your own private life and your own personal life as well as your work life. Uh, Having that designated time to take care of yourself is really important. A lot of times we do not have realistic expectations as far as how long things are going to take, as far as getting to certain places, and we can stress ourselves out just because we haven't given enough time for travel or something like that. So making sure you include those things. Delegating tasks where you can. So letting go of some of the control, and it might be hard, easier said than done. But scheduling time to train someone. Training takes time, but making sure that you actually have that scheduled and you have realistic expectations. You will usually be happy if you take less time to do something and you've allotted more versus if you didn't allot as much time and it takes longer. Just be kind of realistic with that. And taking a break. Sometimes we just need to step away. Taking that break away from your desk, having those scheduled breaks in your schedule so that you have that time and sticking to it. Breaking things down, dividing larger tasks into basics. So sometimes, again, what are those tasks that you just dread and you keep putting off because you don't want to go to it? Can you break it down into smaller bits? Or maybe if it's something you hate doing, can you um, put it into smaller chunks so that it's more bearable for yourself and kind of give yourself a little bit of a reward for every time you do work towards that task. Or again, for delegation purposes, is it something that you can kind of rework how your things are going in your office? Because maybe there's something you're doing that somebody else actually really likes doing. Um, I love organizing things. I love spreadsheets. I love having things be able to get filtered and all of that. You gave that to Sophia in our clinic. She would hate it. She would absolutely hate it. So um, there are some things that just realistically knowing yourself, knowing your coworkers and where their skills are too, and what they enjoy doing, can make stress a lot easier too. And it's okay to ask for help. Get some help. Ask for help if you feel like you've bit off more than you can chew. Try to ask some other people to help out where they can, if you can think of, again, their skill sets and where they might be able to pull. Um, Again, as another kind of way to find more time, since 2020, screen time has increased, and adults now spend about 5 to 9 hours in front of a screen each day. Some get up to 17 and a half hours of screen time each day. So this has been kind of since COVID. But kind of keeping in mind how much time you're spending in front of a screen, maybe that's a source of your stress. Maybe it's helping keep you up more at night. Can you take some breaks, take more breaks away from the screen? Also, kind of like if you're at home, try to set screen limits. There is a way to set screen limits on your phone. So trying to set that if you can, just to help cut back on some of that screen time. Um, Money is a common source of stress for a lot of people. So setting a budget, paying off your debt, managing your money, these are all really important ways. A lot of times it's again, that's that snowball method. We did have a financial wellness. We have a couple of financial wellness webinars that are on our YouTube page. So check those out from Jessica Tucker. But trying to pay off that debt, finding ways to manage your money, every dollar mint in timely bills are some different apps that can help with that as well. And just a quick note on the money piece too is you can't give to everyone. And so a lot of times there are a lot of people that I talk to and they're very, very generous and they want to help people. You can't give to everyone and you can't have everything you want. So what's the most important thing to you? And kind of keep that in mind. It's again, you prioritizing your time, you got to prioritize your money too. Where is it going? Making sure you have money for your emergency fund and saving for retirement. And again, following through on those plans, it makes no sense if you schedule on a block time off for yourself and then you're just like, yeah, it's okay, I'll go ahead and bend, because the minute you start bending, you're just gonna keep bending. So really try to have those hard set fast deadlines and times where you can commit to yourself and then follow through with your plans. Avoid multitasking. It's a lot harder to focus on what you're trying to accomplish. We really do not focus multitask well. No one really does. If you think you can multitask well, I would still question you on that. But um, trying to focus on what you're trying to accomplish, 1 to 2 things at a time, so that you can stay focused on those goals. Practice problem solving. There are more than one ways to do something. And sometimes we stress ourselves out because the way that somebody else does something is not the way we would do it. Um, Sometimes that matters, sometimes it doesn't. And so really kind of give them the grace too and just say, again, that's not in my control. 1, 2, it's still getting done. So maybe it makes more sense to them. And it may not be efficient for the way I would think it could be done, but maybe it's efficient for them. So kind of expectation management, but also is it change the end product? Um, and then again, going to bed and getting enough sleep. I mean, this is really, really important. If you are not getting enough sleep, you are probably not going to be doing too well stress wise. They just tend to be very, very correlated. So taking care of yourself and making sure you're getting enough sleep. And thinking through what are areas of your life that you feel that planning could help you reduce some of your stress. Maybe it's time management, maybe it's finances, um, maybe it's your health, relationship, your sleep, your work. Thinking through all of that. Reframing. How do we think about situations? So think about different ways to look at your situation. One of my favorite quotes is from Jesse Owens: find the good, it's all around you, find it, showcase it, soon you'll start believing it. So looking at the good, trying to find that good, because we often fixate on the negative, but keeping things in perspective, looking at that big picture, practicing gratitude, try to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. So we often look at everything from our point of view. Try to put yourself in that other person's shoes. Maybe something else was going on. The more you can kind of put yourself into their shoes, um, the more it might help kind of give you a new perspective on how to look at a situation and manage your own expectations. My husband always says expectation management. Sometimes we expect the world and then we have nowhere to go except for being disappointed. So um, if you manage your expectations, it can also help kind of gauge and gear your stress that way too. And your mindset. How do you look at things? Maybe it's a mindset that it helps and welcomes change. It welcomes feedback. It's going to help me grow. It's going to help me be better. It's going to help me progress. Versus maybe it's a fixed mindset. That's nope. Change means change is terrible. Change means I'm going to lose my job. And feedback means there's something wrong with me. And I get discouraged by setbacks. And if I fail, that means I'm a failure. Versus, oh, hey, like I need to work on that skill set. So how are you looking at your own situation? And it could depend on the situation or the stressor. Maybe it's the people you interact with, or around certain people, or around. Um, I'm I'm terrible at golf, so I'm sure my mindset would look a lot different at golf versus if I were um, doing track or doing something else. And a lot of times we look at a situation and we don't even stop to ask ourselves, is what I'm thinking true? Are we actually looking at this the right way? And are we thinking properly? Going back to high school, a lot of us went through debate class or at least speech class where you have proper ways of how you can, what's okay to say and what's not okay to say as far as how people debate, how they logically come to conclusions. And we can stump ourselves more than anybody else because we can kind of sabotage ourselves that way. Is what I'm thinking true? Is there a different way of looking at this situation? A lot of times something said, something happens, there's a situation, there's that trigger, and we have that emotional response, and we're like, oh no. And then that's impacting our thoughts versus actually thinking through and being like, oh, what just happened? Oh, well, this person might be having a bad day. Very, very different outlook on how things have happened too. So there's some common kind of areas we can get ourselves into trouble. So we can have our inner critic come out and make it easier to assume negative thoughts are real. Part of reframing is identifying which thoughts are true and false. So that slippery slope. I didn't do well this project. I'm going to get fired. I'm just going to get fired. Well, one project is probably not going to produce a negative outcome, like getting fired. You can learn from your mistakes and use it to make the next project even better. Uh, Love this quote from John Davis, as far as all good lies have an element of truth to them. So there's a little bit of truth in every lie. Those are typically your best lies, the most believable lies, because there's some truth to it, but you just came to wrong conclusions. Um, Feeling guilty, blaming yourself for somebody else's struggles or when somebody else fails. I thought I could change them. I thought I could help them do better, but I couldn't. I failed them. I let them down. I can't change them. I can't make their decisions for them. They're responsible for their own actions. I gotta let, again, this is on the list of things I can't control. I can maybe help them, but there's gonna be choices that they make, and they're gonna have to live with those choices. Those choices have consequences, and they're responsible for that. I can't be responsible for what happens to them. You're caught in the middle. Again, today's political culture is a wonderful example of this. You're reduced to two options and you disagree with both. You're on their side or my side. Well, I care about both of you. There's parts of what both of you are saying are true, and there's parts I disagree with. Um, there is a middle option there. You both could be wrong. Um, One of my family friends always says there's three sides to the truth: her side, their side, and the truth. So finding that middle ground. What ifs? Looking at back on situations, and it's meaningless to keep looking back and try to change the past, but we start second guessing ourselves and create more stress. If only I could have encouraged my spouse to try to be healthier, they wouldn't be having all of these health problems. If only I had done this, then maybe there would be a different outcome. You can't change what's happened. You can't even tell what would have actually happened. um, you can theorize, you can try to guess, but it's not going to change anything as far as what's happened. Trying to focus on making healthy changes going forward. You can only take what you have right now and say, all right, can't change what's happened, but I can change where I am right now. Again, bringing yourself back to that present moment. How can I proceed going forward? What can I do going forward? Maybe I can start being an encouragement to them now. Jumping to conclusions. This whole proposal is going to be awful because this person was put in charge of it. Project manager's not reliable. Um, Previous expectations and letting that determine what you think is going to, you're great at trying to predict the future. So you have some good ideas and good structure. Maybe they've been working on it with some edits as a team. We can produce a great proposal still. So is there an area of this that you can keep working on? Is there an area here that might be good to kind of look at and try to improve? And then laughter. Um, Laughter helps relieve pain, tension, improving immune function, coping with difficult situations, improving your mood, reduces risk of heart attacks, improves self-esteem, decreases stress, depression, and anxiety. Lots of great benefits of laughter. Laughter is great for you. So taking time to laugh and find time for yourself and enjoy time for yourself. Uh, it's make daunting tasks more enjoyable. So maybe while you're doing that daunting task, maybe you hate exercise. Um, Music with exercise, audiobook, podcasts, finding ways of things that you like that you can tie to that negative activity. Maybe it's not so negative, but you just don't like it as much, to help give you something more to look forward to with it. Um, Trying to do those things specifically only when you're doing that activity can help make it more of something you look forward to. Blocking out time for things you enjoy doing, including tasks that make you happy each day to keep you motivated. And along with that, finding joy. Maybe it's been a while since you've had a good laugh. I've talked to a lot of people who are stressed out, and one of the things I hear a lot is, I don't even remember what I enjoy doing. I don't even remember, like, I have a hard time thinking about what I enjoy in life. So maybe it's just stopping to think about, like, what do I find pleasure in? Because there's more to life than just our health. There's quality of what do we enjoy doing, finding, maybe it's funny videos, pictures, books, jokes, puzzles, keeping things around your desk or workspace that just put a smile on your face. Practice laughing, even if it feels forced. Share funny stories with friends and laugh. Look up funny jokes online. Talk to friends, family, coworkers that make you smile. Just to kind of close here too, as we close, I like this wonderful GIF. You can say "Have a nice day" with no problem, but you can't say "Enjoy the next 24 hours" without sounding mildly threatening. With an adorable panda. think it's hilarious. So as you keep going, identify your triggers, know your warning signs, learn to cope. We're going to keep diving into more next week, but what is something that you can take away from today to keep working on your progress? Just a reminder, at the doc, we have a lot of services available to you, including a lot of condition management programs that I run. We have our on-site dispensary, we have our occupational health services, and we can do referrals for you. A lot of different services available to you. But Wednesday, October 18th, we are going to have part 3 with our relaxation techniques. So please hop on that one when we're looking forward to that one. Reach out to me for the handout if you need. I will also put it on the Teams chat from the visit as well, from the session as well. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.